Hello and welcome to Awakened Entrepreneur Revolution. In this podcast, you will discover how to co-create success in your business by aligning mind, body, and soul. Tune in each week to hear unconventional ways to build your business by focusing on sales and marketing energetics, mixing the woo and the do to enroll more clients, transform more lives, and create the ripple effect you know you are here to make. The traditional approach hasn't resonated with you because it is not meant for you. You've simply evolved past it. The energy is shifting. Old bro tactics and strategies are not working anymore. And you know there is a more aligned, more authentic, and far more impactful approach for you. Join me, Jana Nixa, the Authentic Sales Coach, and a special guest each week as I discover how they co-created their multi-6 and 7-figure businesses by taking inspired action and cultivating success from the inside out. Let's transcend the traditional together to massively up-level your business and to live your purpose on purpose. Welcome back to Awakened Entrepreneur Revolution. Today, my guest is a girl after my own heart. When I read her bio, I was like, oh my gosh, we are certainly cut from the same cloth. She helps purpose-driven service providers and coaches stop hustling alone and start growing by building powerful peer circles through intentional conversations. Sound familiar? Her strategic approach to relationships, collaborations, and networking helps successful professionals attract consistent clients, create sustainable growth, and unlock profitable opportunities. She's based in Portugal, which is super cool, and she's helped 350 business owners build genuine connections as effortlessly and as problem solving with a friend over coffee. I love it. No icky tactics are required. Her philosophy is simple. Leave people better than you found them. Success follows naturally. Please welcome Heidi Medina. Hi, Heidi. I love that.
Thank
Leaving
you.
people better than you found them. That's a beautiful intention.
It's what I've always resonated with because why not? Why not leave them better off having got to meet you?
Absolutely. And I think, I was just having this similar conversation inside my coaching group yesterday about expectation and about attachment and about how if you're going into networking like like a hunter, like that is not where you want to be.
It's not. It's funny because I was just writing up a description, I guess earlier this week about networking because I have my networking event happening next week. And it was like, if you feel like you're bait in shark-infested waters at most networking events, come join ours. Because a lot of people have this idea that networking is nothing but let me go find clients when it's actually an introduction. It's a taster to you. It's about relationship building.
Yes. And listen, you guys, if we can set some people free here today. Yes, we're going to talk about networking, but I think based on the pre-show conversation we had, we're going to talk even more about the dark side of the industry a little bit and really helping you guys stay in that pure heart. Because, if you're going in thinking, what can I get? You've already lost. If you're going in with this, like, how can I serve? Because all it takes is what I was telling my ladies, is all it takes is one door that could drastically change your business.
True.
So, and I look back on some of these things before I really understood the bigger picture. And I was like, well, that was kind of a waste of a summit that I spoke at, or, that was kind of the only 8 people downloaded my only, like, don't disrespect your audience. And you just don't know where those things are going to lead. Some of those have got me onto bigger stages. Some of those have become clients. Some of those have become collaborations.
Yeah.
And people just, that little like hunter mentality, like let me just go in for the kill, right? So tell me, Heidi, like how did you come into being this networking guru?
It's funny. I've just naturally been doing it my whole life. So I grew up in an entrepreneur household. My first business I actually started when I was 13. It's still operating today with my dad and little sister at the helm. But so I grew up in this environment because I grew up on a produce farm where we had a produce stand. So since I could walk and talk, I've been selling something. I started out with the biggest watermelons. I was probably only 4 or 5 years old, but I would pick out the biggest one and I would figure out whoever came in that door looking for a watermelon, how to sell them that big one. And I mean, I literally was tiny at that point. And it just taught me how to connect and talk to people and just build a relationship. And I've taken that through, this is my 5th business. So I've taken that through everything. And I just learned that I think the hardest part for me, that was when I jumped online because there was a massive disconnect between screen and keyboard. But then I just had that enlightened moment one day. This is no different than in person. We treat it the same, the exact same. And that was like the biggest light bulb. And that's what I've been working with since to set people free of realizing this is still the real world, since we like to call out there the real world, but this is still the real world too. And we network the same. So if you're going to an in-person networking, treat an online networking the same. If you're going to how you talk to someone online, treat it the same. I mean, you and I, we've only met virtually, and yet here we are having a conversation the same if we were sitting in a coffee house.
I am like coming out of my seat, full body chills, because that was the moment for me too. So like Heidi just mentioned, we just met, right? Like we met through a podcasting group. So you may not even know my story, but I was in sales for over 2 decades. So first off, just a full disclaimer for anybody that's new here. And then for you, Heidi, like I struggled with the male sort of like bro approach. And it took me a few years to like get my stride and like really fully do it in a more heart center. I didn't even know what I was doing. I just knew I couldn't do it the way they were doing it. So I discovered this whole way, and I would probably assume, you have that about you as well. And it's about the art of conversation and connection and listening. And I struggled. So when I came into this space, like, I'm like, I can't lose. I've got this way of selling that I don't hear anybody talking about. I actually have experience doing it. I didn't just read it in a book. And then I'm like a mindset spirituality junkie. I'm like, manifestation, like all the things. And then I got chewed up and spit out. But it was because all of a sudden I treated this space different. And so it wasn't until a coach said to me, and it was a huge point for me too. And I want to highlight this for our audience because you said the same thing. And that was when she said, Jana, like, hold the phone. Because I'm like, I got to go viral on Reels and I got to have a landing pages and, like, where's my freebie and my emails and the burp, 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 all the things I hate. I not only do I don't like doing it as a coach, I don't consume newsletters. So anywho, here I am spinning out, and she says, Jana, what was it that made you so successful in sales? And I had that like duh moment of like, oh my God, the same thing applies here. I've been overcomplicating it. And it 100%. Sounds like, did you have to go through those growing?
I did. Too? I really did. And I mean, I did. I mean, here it was in the in-person world. I had signed $1 million+ contracts with companies like GE, Walmart, places like that. And yet I got online and all of a sudden I intook all this, and I have to put it what it was, masculine energy and this traditional ways of marketing online and everything. And it didn't feel good, but of course we tried it. We went through, I'm like you, we went through all of it because we thought we're online. It's got to be done this way. This is how you do it. And it was this whole transformation of going through that and realizing, I mean, really, one of the biggest wake-up calls for me was one day I was so frustrated on LinkedIn, and this was 2018, I think. I was so frustrated. I wasn't getting anywhere. And yet I'm on this platform. I can see people having amazing conversations, but I'm not really getting them yet at that point. and I dropped a rant. It was literally, I was just having a moment, and I actually did out a rant. It had the F bomb in it 3 times. I slammed the lid down on my computer and I walked away. And I came back about 10 minutes later. I knew I was going to be blocked. And I just knew it, you know? And I logged on and I had like 30 or 40 comments, the most I'd ever had at that point, where people were just talking to me because it was human. It was
Yes.
just, I was obviously frustrated and I just put it out the way I would have talked to a friend. And it was obviously a rant and I was having a bad moment. And there was so much support. And I, of course, didn't get banned. But I just realized that all that perfection stuff we were trying to do online, we don't need it. We just need to
No.
talk to people like human beings and realize this is the real world too. It's just a little different. Um, and I just, after that, I got to work on helping people make that same connection. And that's what I've been doing since.
I love it. I love it because we do, I tell this, I speak pretty regularly these days. And for the last event I did in Utah, I told this story. I hope I haven't told this on here yet. I don't think so. And so it's the story of like the race between in the 60s between USA and Russia, like the space thing, right? It was like this big
Yeah.
deal. And what they were finding is when they went out in outer space, that their pens wouldn't work. And it was like a big problem. Like they couldn't write, they couldn't like take the measurements and do all the things. So they came home and they got the task force and they hired all these people and they're like, we're going to figure out the space pen. And $1 million back then. I don't even know what that would be equivalent to now, but it was a lot,
Lot.
right? Russia just used a pencil.
Don't overcomplicate it.
And I think that that's exactly what I'm hearing you say. And I say, like, people, especially if you have a skill set, you've been in the real world, right? You're not somebody that was born with a phone in their hand, right? And so content isn't always just this natural extension of you. Then there's other ways, right? There's these ways that business has been being done forever. And here, spoiler alert, those people too, the ones that have content as an extension of who they are, they still have to learn those skills too. Because you still have to learn how to have conversations and connect. You cannot hide behind your content forever, especially if you're in the people business, right? Like you're not selling widgets. So there's these skill sets, and I feel like I sort of didn't really give myself enough credit coming in because I thought I had to be some IG superstar. And I'm just here to tell you, and Heidi, let me know your thoughts on this, that's just a part of it, and it doesn't even have to be.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's so many different ways, and I think that's just it. Is everybody gets online, and this is something that I help people with a lot. Is they see these cold pitches coming in DM that feel crappy. I mean, they're horrible. But as I tell them, all these forms of marketing work for someone, but that doesn't mean you have to do them. There's a million and one ways to market. We just got to find your recipe, and that's what it is. And for most of us, and especially women, that's where a lot of the traditional marketing is. It's all done by men, so it's a lot more from a different area and stuff. And this isn't male bashing or anything else. They do their stuff well and everything else, but they do it differently than we do. That's why there's like over 8 billion a year spent on learning how to market and sell to women. Do you not think we also market differently and sell differently? And people don't get the disconnect that goes the other way as well. That means we're going to do things differently, and it's okay to throw out all those rule books that this is how you're supposed to do it, and figure out your way of doing it that's going to work the best and feels good. Because at the end of the day, if it doesn't feel good, you're not going to keep doing it.
And it's not going to be in the right energy. Like when I had to sit down and I'm like, I got to do 20 reels today.
Oh God.
Like what a horrible heavy, it just sometimes they would be, they were fun too. Like I can
Of
convince
course.
myself, right? But But it's just we want to be in our power and in our strengths and in our gifts as much as possible. And especially as conscious entrepreneurs, I mean, the whole premise of this podcast is about you finding your way, because if you're not in alignment or in your authenticity and in your joy, if you're compromising your integrity, you can feel that. And you'll know, because people listening to this are more of the spiritual variety, you'll know exactly what that is. And you can only ignore it for so long, and then it's just going to stare you right in the face. So you may as well just embrace that it's not a one size fits all or some magic bullet thing,
Well, and you said something key earlier too that kind of comes right back in now. You've got people that are trying to force themselves to do these methods and use these methods that don't work. And I was having a conversation in a group session that I did, I guess it's been about 2 years ago now, with a bunch of ladies, and we were all, it was kind of a mastermind kind of thing. So everybody was doing their input. And the one lady, she says, I just really don't like doing email marketing the way it's done. This is how I want to do it. And one of the other ladies piped up and she said, well, honey, your audience, your ideal client doesn't know any better, but this is how you need to do it to sell it. So you need to do it that way. And I just said, I was like, no. I was like, let's stop the train right now. I was like, first of all, if you don't like being sold that way too, why are you trying to do it to somebody else? I was like, your clients are not going to appreciate that or like it. And I said, but you're torturing yourself to keep doing it that way. I said, instead, find a way to do it. I mean, I'm a late adopter to email marketing. I didn't start it till 2 years ago. I was I know, God knows it's not just me. I mean, the list I could have had now, if I could have realized how I could have done email marketing my way, just having a conversation. I would have had my list a long time ago, but I was stuck in those rules. And so I didn't start it up till 2 years ago, and I've been finding my path through it now. But you know what? There's so many ways to do it.
There
Don't
is.
force yourself.
And, back to what we were talking about before, like I'm trying to instill in my clients, and I don't know, maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but like emailing to me is more of a scaling activity. Like until you know how to, we can't hide behind all the technology, especially if you're going to be working with people like in a coaching or consulting. Like we really do want to learn how to have conversations with them and be in their energy. And, to me, don't sacrifice conversations for content, for email. Do the work first to get visible. Talk with your people, because frankly, I started email day one, started a blog, hate writing, told I had to start a blog. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to speak their language. And the only way you get that is reps in the game and getting out there and having conversations with people, whether it's online networking, in person. But, we have to learn to not be afraid of that part. And frankly, nobody gets to skip steps.
They don't.
And so it's a beautiful thing if you embrace it, because the more time you spend understanding your ideal client's problems and the more time you spend figuring out how to solve them and speaking to it in a way that they understand it, then you infuse that into whatever you want, whatever strategy. But if that's not intact.
Yeah. Well, it's like I tell everybody all the time, if you don't have enough clients, it's because you're not talking to enough people. At the end of the day, you've got to be getting the conversations going. And so many people are waiting because they're still being taught this too, that content is the end all, the end all. And don't get me wrong, guys. I support this right now. What we're doing is a type of content. There's so many different ways to create content. But hiding behind content, putting out content, you can be as consistent as you want to in the world with content, posting it 10 times a day. Doesn't really matter. But unless you're some famous person, nobody's going to show up on your content without you having gotten out there and done a lot more work than that.
You got to pull it through. And frankly, just to toot the sales horn, even if you did go viral, if you don't have a sales process to back that up,
That too.
then what in the world are we doing here? Because it doesn't just go, I'm sure you guys have heard this before. I say a lot, but I think it bears repeating. And that is posting content and just expecting people to hop into your DMs and go, "You're amazing. What can I purchase from you?" That is a pipe dream.
It is.
That is not how it works. I will set you free right now. Anybody that tells you it does, either they're lying or they're misleading because they are not telling you the full truth. Speaking of, I ran across an ad. We were talking about this before.
Yeah, well, let's go there.
Let's go. Because I don't know, call me like the Robin Hood of the coaching industry. I don't know, but I feel the need to be like, bullshit. Because I'm thinking about that earlier version of me that would have seen that and been like, oh my God, this is the answer. And so this person was calling all healers and conscious entrepreneurs, which is what got my attention. And very much looks like one herself. And she probably is. And I'll just give her the benefit of the doubt. Some bro somewhere told her this is what you're going to say. Right. So she then goes on to say, if you're having trouble, like we all know healers and coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs have, because your gifts are amazing, but you can't get the customers, we're going to do it. We're going to do ads for you. Right. And you don't have to worry anymore. We've got you. And P.S. we'll work with you until it works. Sounds great, doesn't it, Heidi?
It sounds fantastically awesome. I mean, at the beginning, I might would have fallen for that stuff way back in the day, but
there were so many. They were like, yes, this sounds amazing. And I'm like, no. When in life does it work like that? Yeah.
it doesn't.
Like, if that were the case, then everybody would just come over here and start running ads.
And that means everybody would be billionaires now because they were all running ads. And how many people do you know in your circle that are entrepreneurs that are billionaires right now because they were running Facebook ads? Most of them are broke from running Facebook ads.
Yes. And so, of course, me being me, and I'm not here to shame. Like, I don't care what she does. But what I wanted to do is be a voice of reason. So I commented and I was like, so question. Are you going to do and figure out all of their messaging for them and get that ad converting for them? And then I know you mentioned sales calls. So are you going to have your sales team do that? Because in my world, and I'm a multi-six-figure business owner, those are skill sets that have to be learned.
Mm-hmm.
Like voice of reason, enter in voice of reason. And I was like, so I was just curious if you're going to do all of that for them, because otherwise how is it going to go?
Yeah.
If you don't know how to convert, if you can't figure out quite yet, if your message isn't landing quite yet, throwing ads at it and a bunch of money is not going to do ask me how I know, ladies and gentlemen. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You have to know three things. I'd love to hear your you got to have an offer that's converting, preferably high ticket, so that you got the ROI and the margin.
Yeah.
2, got to make sure that message is resonating, not just likes and comments, y'all, but actually with your ideal client and priming them to want to buy. 3, got to know how to close them. You don't have to be a jerk. You don't have to be a sleaze, but you got to know how to have a conversation with them in a way that gets them to understand that what you have to offer is exactly what they need.
Agreed.
Without that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and honestly, in my opinion, my beliefs, my opinion, my everything, what I consider the Bible on this one is, is that ads are for scaling, which means if you don't have your business working right yet organically, you haven't taken the time to build an audience, get to know them. That means you don't know them well enough. If your offers aren't converting yet, you haven't got out there and had enough conversations. And then ads are for scaling once you've hit that point and you need more, so that saves your time and your effort and gets more people in your circle quicker. But you got to do the work first to get there so that you can have something that you don't just dump ad money in and run yourself broke.
Yeah.
Because that's what you'll do.
and they're little clever, and maybe they mean well on this, that they will work
Yeah.
with you until they do. How much money do you have to spend to try to get a message to convert and a sales call to convert if it hasn't converted already? Because of course they'll work with you forever, but you can't. You will run out of money before it's, you'll be the one that calls uncle. They won't.
Well, and here's another side to that they don't tell you on the ads side. And this, yeah, we're not bashing ads people. I know some
No,
very
I'm
reputable
about to
ad
start
people.
running ads, but I'm
Yeah,
at that point where it makes sense.
yeah, and I'm going to use it for scaling. So far, I haven't needed to at this point, but I will use it for scaling one day because it's a smart way to scale.
Totally.
But what they also don't tell you about these ads is that they rely on the audience you've already got coming in to help match the ads to the right people. So most people are jumping in without an audience at all. They have done no engaging with anyone at all. And so the ads are just pulling from nowhere at that point. They've tried to mirror, because your ads are based on mirroring an audience you already have that's potentially working. So if you haven't already started pulling your ideal clients into your circle, then you're kind of fucking up.
Well, and that's exactly it. And so, I just, again, I love that you said that, Heidi, and I want to echo it. Like, we're not saying ads are bad.
Yes.
It's what I say on this podcast a lot. There is a sequence.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, like learning to run. Like, you don't go, I'm going to teach you how to run if the baby hasn't learned to crawl or walk, right? Like, there's phases to a business and there's a sequence. And, just thinking that, well, and that's because that's kind of what I thought. I'm like, well, if I can't get this to work within a year, I'll just do Facebook ads. That is not it.
Yeah,
That is
it's
not it. Now, the
not going to solve your problem.
will not solve your problem. Now, however, I have solved my problem at this point. No thanks to Facebook ads. Very expensive lesson. Now, something that converts, it converts consistently. And so now it's like, I just need to actually get more people that I can help size balls on it, that want what I have to offer. That's when it makes sense. And so
it does. And I mean, when you're like you said, you're hitting multi six figures and stuff, there comes a point where there's only so much you can do, or you've got to make a massively expanded team to be able to take on some more of the work. So ads make sense.
Yeah.
When you're at that point in your journey, but not towards the beginning when you're still figuring it out. You're getting your ads working. And really, I was talking to an ads expert the other day, and we were having a conversation. And his advice is that you don't start running ads till you're making at least 100K, if not more.
I agree. Totally.
So I was cheering him on for saying that, because I mean, here's a guy, that's how he makes his money, and he's good at it. But he said, because I was talking to him, met him at a networking event, and he actually had a very human approach to it. So I wanted to know more about him, because obviously one day I'm going to be running ads, and I'm trying to find my person now because I want them in my circle now. So I'm already building that relationship, and I know they know me by that point. And I was very impressed with how he loves the conversation side, even in ads, which was something you don't hear often. And that he was so reputable with it, with the, ethical with, hey, I don't want to work with you till you're making at least 100K, if not more. So if you've got people to refer to me, this is my checklist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other side of this whole thing is, like the program I bought into a few years ago. How many people are you going to burn?
Yeah.
Like, if I just see one client inside my program that's like starting to pull away, or, she can see everybody else is getting clients, and we all can feel into energy, especially when you've had the lives you and I have, where we've been conversating with people and so I'm on her, like, what's going on, like offline, not in front of everybody. But that's how I treat people when I know they're discouraged. And I just can't imagine running a business where day in and day out, you're just seeing people that are coming in desperate. You've got 8 weeks to make it work. And they're just, talk about fear. I was way up in it,
Yeah.
and So anyway, I wanted to bring that to light for people because what you offer is the fundamental pieces. And to me, it's where everything else is built on. And
It
if
is. Yeah, it's totally the foundations, because if you get those right, if you learn how to talk to people, and when we say talk to people, guys, because we are talking online relationships too, that lead offline and everything too, but it's through your content, it's through the comments, it's your DMs, it's not just our mouths moving. It's the connection through the video, live streams. I mean, however it is you come in contact with people, consider that a conversation.
yes,
And when you make that switch, it also changes how you construct your content, how you do commenting, everything. When you start thinking, wow, I'm just having a conversation with someone. And one thing I do for people, especially with comments, because my husband was having this problem. He's coming to my business now, and he helps run the back. I mean, he does all my video editing, my graphics, you name it. He's doing it behind the scenes. And he says, Heidi, I don't get, because it doesn't feel like a conversation, because they're not talking back to me immediately like you and I are right now. And I said, but you will send texts to people on your phone and you realize that's a conversation that they may not get back to you till tomorrow morning. He goes, oh. I said, yeah, right
it's a
there
good
you go.
point. It's a really good point. And, you think about it in person, like, we'll just get granular for a second because I love doing that with my audience. Like, people are like, but I don't know what to comment. Like I'm like, comment with some sort of question.
Yeah.
Like it would be almost like if you and I were at an event and you were like, hey, Jana, what brings you here today? I love your shirt. And I'm just like, thanks. And then I
Yeah.
just stand there like
You got
this and
nowhere
we
to
just stare
go.
at each other.
You literally
Instead,
got
it's like,
nowhere to go.
thank you. What brought you here today? And I just want you guys to imagine that. Oh, thanks. And
I,
people would be like, I don't like her.
yeah. You got curiosity, have an intention to have a conversation. And it can be small talk at first. I'm not huge on small talk, but if you got to talk about the weather to get it going and that's what you need, then do it. Whatever you need to get the conversation going. But I actually feel like it's easier on social media because you've already got a conversation starter. Whereas when you walk up to someone out in the real world and you don't know them, and I don't like to call it the real world, it's all the real world, in the in-person world. When you walk up to them and you don't know them at all and you want to get a conversation started, you don't know anything about them. You got to figure out what to talk about, where to get it going. But social media, we got a shortcut. Somebody's already posted a piece of content. They've already dropped a comment. You've got a starting point already. It's so much easier in that
And you can
aspect.
go take a peek at their stuff. I mean, it's so much easier than like, I'm just going to say hello because this is what I'm supposed to do while I'm here. How are you? But I think at the end of the day, whatever you can do, because there's so many people that need what you have to offer, right? One last question on this whole topic. Like, what do you think is the number one thing people are missing in this first stage of business? What would really move the needle for them if they started doing it? And maybe it's something we've already discussed, but I just want to highlight it.
It is, but it's have more conversations. Get out talking to people. And by that is in the comments, is in sending some DMs, getting on guest speaking here. So we're talking to an audience right now for me, and I'm borrowing yours. You'll be borrowing mine when I share it. But get out there and actually get to talking to people, because if you are not, you're not going to go anywhere. And that includes content, everything. Get people on calls, ask people on a market research call if you don't even know where else to go. People are happy to help, but get to talking to them so that you can get to know them.
100%. I completely agree. And like for all of those that are like, oh, I don't know. Like let me just step on my soapbox for a minute. You're a CEO. You got to go pro and own it.
Yep.
There's no hiding or like, I'm going to go stand in like, here's what I'm going to say. Take Heidi's advice and do it as if your business depended on it, because
It
it
does.
does. And you got to learn these things. You work with somebody that can help you. If you really struggle with socializing and, converse, like that's what we're all here for.
Mhm.
There's pieces that I didn't know how to do. I got 3 different coaches right now helping me with different pieces. And that's the
Mhm.
beauty of it. It does take a village, but if nothing changes, nothing changes, And so just know that we all have felt that at one point. It's
Yeah.
weird. It's awkward, but do the
Uh-huh.
awkward thing until it becomes a no biggie.
Well, and I
Because
think
you're going
that's
to do
the
that
big.
over and over and over and over. Every time you expand, you're like, now I got to go be on stage. That's awkward. And then you expand more. It's like, now I got to go, in front of 1,000 people. Well, that's, like it just keeps, you just kind of keep walking through the awkward.
Well, and I think that's the thing too. This is something you can read about it, you can hear about it, somebody can tell you how to do it, but until you get out there and actually, and you're going to fuck it up a time or two,
And that's
or
okay.
3, or
You're
4,
going
or
to
way more.
survive. You're not going
You're
to die.
going to, but there's a big switch for it to realize you're not failing. Failing is just learning. You are learning. And if you aren't actually doing, if you aren't taking action, then you're not learning. And you can't move forward until you learn how to take that step and do it successfully. So I don't care how much you read about how to write a post or how to comment or how to create a video or even get on that stage until you've done it. And it's even just like I tell my clients, because we know a lot of people are scared to get on video. They don't want to get on video. I mean, that's like the most biggest demon they have to overcome. And I'm just like, go ahead and realize your first one's going to suck. Get the Band-Aid ripped off and then use it later to measure back with how good you
I
are now.
so wish I would have done. I'll have to see. I wish, like, you see Russell Brunson's like very first sales pre, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had that, because you're going to. But guess
Yeah.
what? So did Heidi. So did I. Like we've
Oh, mine were
all.
bad.
It's like, get comfortable. This is the name of the game in this space: is get comfortable being uncomfortable. Whatever it is, take it head on, because at the end of the day, is it life threatening or is it ego threatening?
Yeah, you're not going to die from it.
You're not. You're not. And every time you do it and every time you face it, it gets easier and easier. And so now, Heidi, I know you brought a gift for the audience. So please tell everybody what it is.
An invitation to my monthly networking event. It's free. Just got to sign up, get the link, and come join us. It's a ton of amazing, heart-driven service providers, coaches, consultants, creatives, all in the space that believe in collaborating, networking, and an abundance mindset that the pie just gets bigger the more of us there are working on it. So it's really incredible. So come join us.
I love that. And yes, the number one way to bust through some of these things is to be around people that have already done it.
Yeah.
Because then you see there's your social proof. And that's why those rooms will rewire you. So go to Heidi's networking. Maybe I will join you, because I love to expand my network. And Heidi, last question on, I think I already said that, but I have one more now. Ha ha. And that is, what would you tell that version of you, maybe that was struggling a little bit earlier on, or, what would be the biggest piece of advice you'd like to leave with our audience today?
Let go of the rules. Go ahead, let go of the rules early that are going ahead and that they're stopping you. Because that was probably the thing that held me back the longest online, was being smothered by the rules. And they weren't my rules. They were somebody else's arbitrary rules that I had to do it this way. And when the minute I let them go and I started finding my way, and then finding cool people like Jana and everybody else who could help me find it and do it my way, it made the biggest difference in the world. So yeah, let go of the rules and get help faster. Ooh, I wish I had done it a lot quicker.
Yes, me too. And yeah, it's so true. I mean, you're here to be you. And
Mm-hmm.
in the great words, I think of Dr. Seuss, and there's no one more youer than you. So we tell that to our children, and then somewhere along the way we forget, and it's really, really sad. And so, Heidi, thank you so much for being here. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. To all of you listening, I hope this has maybe shed some light on a few things, because at the end of the day, I just want you guys to step up and become all that you're meant to be. And if I can help you avoid some of the pitfalls that I did along the way, I'm happy to do it. You're welcome. So thank you, Heidi. And thanks
Thank
everyone
you.
again. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening. And I have an amazing gift for you. If you are ready to hit those 10K, 20K, 50K months and beyond, I created a next level you meditation so that you can take action and embody your higher self each day to quantum leap your business. Please listen up. Review this podcast, screenshot the review, and share it on social, and tag me, the Authentic Sales Coach, on either Facebook or IG, and I will send you this special gift as a massive thank you.